Omega Wars. I can remember a time before I knew about this, and even being trained as a personal trainer, they didn't teach you this there, that you told this bullshit that as you age, things slow down. As you age, your memory gets worse. As you age, yada, yada, yada. Well, I can tell you this, I'm 49, very soon, in about a month, I've never felt better. And what I'm about to show you here, Omega Wars, is one of the levers that you can pull down on to get your hormones back online, to stop inflammation. So let's drive into that. I'll just very quickly show you the problem, and I'll explain what this omega is. If you don't know what the omegas are, these essential fatty acids that come into our bodies, they turn into hormones, very short-lived hormones, but they have a very profound effect on sex hormone production, on thyroid output, on you kicking ass in life, all right? So right here, this research paper, changed gene expression. Okay, I won't drive into that, but that's bad. Change from what our genes are supposed to do. It's moving away from evolution and what it designed for us. Number two, that's what the omegas are. They're eicosanoids. And they create pro-inflammatory cytokines. Have you seen my video on inflammation and what it's costing you? You should check that out. There will be more information below to find that video. But in a nutshell, when inflammation, these cytokines, they're kind of sinister. They cross over the blood-brain barrier. And then they go around and they switch off neural circuits in your brain, like rational thought, willpower. So we give in more, we're irrational. We lose focus, we become distracted because we lose executive control, higher thinking. We're not focused. So that's a problem in and of itself. And because you more than likely, if you're over 25, you'll have a high omega-6 to 3 ratio. You could even be 15 or younger and have this. It happens very fast. And you'll have low-grade inflammation. So we're always at a disadvantage. Now, what we also have to understand is that there's some people with elite genetics that don't seem to miss a beat because they clear out inflammation very quickly. But people like you and I, we don't have that genetic advantage, so we have to get this right. We have to get this right if you want good energy, if you want testosterone at high optimal levels, if you want your feel-good hormones to be optimized, if you want thyroid and growth hormone to be where they should be, where evolution designed them to be. This is the first thing you have to get right. So the fourth thing here, as this research paper shows, low-grade inflammation. The fifth thing, serotonin depletion, which is extremely important for executive control and higher thinking, solution-oriented thinking. So if you're an entrepreneur or a CEO, or you just want to kick ass in life and have your brain grow in size and IQ as you age, this is one thing we have to get right. Increased cortisol production. We're stressed out, sick and tired, And over here, decreased fluidity of the cell membrane. We're slowing down. Our thoughts, ums and ahs, we lose track of where we are. And number 8 there, your receptors change. This is part of the gene expression change. So receptor ratios are all over the place. Serotonin, dopamine, they're all over the place. And the 9th thing here, alterations in the dopaminergic system. The two we're going to focus in on here are the mesolimbic, the emotional one, and the mesocortical. The mesocortical, that's for executive control. And guess one gets upregulated? The emotional one. We're more emotional. So that's the big problem. Now, I'm going to give you the solution, not my solution, what the hard-working research scientists have shown us that we need to do, and it's ever so simple to get this right. But we need to walk through this because it's affecting so many systems in your amazing body, your brain, your endocannabinoids, which is feeding behavior, sexual behavior. We've got low libido, we're all over the shop. So this research paper here, and this is research has been out for quite some time. And I was also, when I went through personal training school, they didn't talk about this at all. And I'm not going to drive into why that is, but I've got a couple of podcasts with Dr. Anthony J, PhD. I've also got another one with Dr. Ken Berry, board certified MD, and he speaks about this and how we need to fix these problems. But right here on screen, excessive amounts of omega-6, if you follow the Western diet, right? So, or if you just follow whatever diet, you won't have this ratio, right? Especially if you don't know what's going on. Promote diseases including cardiovascular disease, cancer, inflammatory and autoimmune disease. I had all of this shit. I didn't have cardiovascular, thankfully, but my dad did. Now he's got a pacemaker. So this here is quite profound. This won't take long to go through, but we have to understand that we can fix this, and you can. A ratio of 4-1, which is kind of getting where it needs to be, was associated with a 70% decrease in total mortality. A 2.5-1 reduced rectal cell proliferation in patients with cancer. Whereas, and listen, this is extremely important, whereas a ratio of 4-1 with the same amount had no effect. So you see, we have to get really low to have protection against cancer. Now, we're talking about arthritis and asthma next. I had both. I had 5 shoulder surgeries. So if I had this right, I would never have had those shoulder surgeries. I would never have had problems with asthma. Now, let me just talk about, I'll read off screen. A 2 or 3-1 ratio suppressed inflammation in patients with rheumatoid arthritis. A 5-1 beneficial effects with patients with asthma. Now the next part is extremely profound. Whereas a ratio of 10-1 had adverse consequences. And generally the Western diet gets you at 20-1 and even 50-1. And where is it supposed to be? Where do the research scientists say it should be? Balanced, 1-1. So when you get it back there, you just go back up here. So these omega-6s, right? This is what we're talking about here. Omega-6 is the inflammatory dude. He comes out shooting. And we need him because it takes care of bacterial infections and viral infections. But if you cut yourself, omega-6 will come along and coagulate the blood so you don't bleed out. Now, what omega-3 does is quite profound. It resolves, protects, and heals. And it does this as soon as this starts to happen in your amazing body. But think about it from this perspective. If you've got a 20-1 ratio, you've got a lot of inflammation, and poor omega-3 can't do its job. It can't do its job. So you can see, stemming back to this research paper here, that, when you get it back to a 2.5-1 ratio, that's good. That's great. But what's elite, or the best, is 1-1. And I'm going to show you how to fix this. And not me, of course, the research scientists, where to go and how to get this fixed. And it's not difficult either. You don't have to even leave your own home. Right? That's how amazing these research scientists, they've made it so easy for us. This research paper here, a high omega-6 intake leads to hyperactivity of the endocannabinoid system, whereas omega-3 leads to normal homeostasis, decreased hyperactivity. High omega-6 increases leptin resistance. Leptin resistance, what does that mean? You're hungry more often. Insulin resistance, well, you're going to age faster. And that causes inflammation. So it's a double whammy. Now, what is inflammation costing you? I recently did a podcast with Dr. Amy B. Keel, and she's a world-respected authority when it comes to sexual function, sex hormones, and skin health. And this is part of what she was talking about. You can check out that podcast. The information is below. But these inflammatory cytokines inhibit testosterone production at the pituitary and at the testicular level. But also, this is extremely important for females, testosterone too, and Dr. Amy speaks to that. She is an expert and authority in that. Now, this is quite profound here. Higher levels of inflammation mark, and you can fix this, so don't sweat it, right? You can fix this, so do not sweat it. High inflammatory markers and low T concentrations are strong predictors of frailty, disability, cardiovascular events that negatively influence muscle mass, so we're weaker. So, we really don't need to go on to that, but as you can see here, we've got a big problem, you and I, and I've spoken about this, and the information is below about estrogenic endocrine disrupting chemicals. So they're another double whammy. So this is another thing that we have to fix. And guess what? This is a simple elimination. Again, this is simple and easy to do. It's not difficult at all. So as you can see, the one problem we've got is this the omega wars, right? The wars, our body is at war, inflammation, serotonin depletion, alterations in our dopaminergic systems. We're more emotional than we need to be. We can't think straight. Executive control's gone. But it also drives into disease and asthma, which I had, and high blood pressure, which I had ever since I was 19. Because I've got garbage genetics, absolute garbage. I produce more stress hormones and inflammation than the average person. So that's why I classify myself as having garbage genetics. And if I can get this right, most certainly you can get this right. But look what happens. So this is what I call testosterone in the coal mine, or sex hormones in the coal mine. That's why I've got this canary here, right? Because canary in the coal mine. So this is what inhibits testosterone and sex hormone production. Now I call this the proxy, because when this goes to shit, when you stop producing testosterone, thyroid output goes down, growth hormone output goes down, feel-good hormones go down. So everything goes down. We're more depressed. And it's not we're depressed. It's our central nervous system that's depressed, and our brain that's depressed. Remember, these cytokines are crossing the blood-brain barrier, and they switch off neural circuits in the brain like compassion, executive control. And I've got another video all about inflammation, and there's 3 different levels that we all experience, and we a lot of times, unfortunately, as I did, we write it off as a bad character trait. But here's the most profound thing that I learned from my mentor. When this dysfunction is happening and inflammation, these cytokines, they even sound sinister, right? They cross the blood-brain barrier and they go switching off all these neural circuits. We think it's a character flaw. We think it's us. But this is what's going on. So this is the only time you'll hear me say this. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. But when you remove this inflammation, you'll see that, wow, energy comes back online. Feel-good hormones, testosterone starts creeping back up. DHEA starts creeping back up. All these amazing, powerful hormones start creeping back up, and then you feel amazing. So, stress, these estrogenic-like endocrine disrupting chemicals. Inflammation is going to shut this, as we know, right? Acute. So even if you sprain your ankle, it's going to shut off testosterone production. And the reason it does that, evolution does that, because we have to speed up the recovery process as fast as possible. We don't want to be wasting energy making sex hormones. We want to fix ourselves so we can get back on our feet and kick ass again. So that's why inflammation shuts down sex hormone production, but also our metabolism does. Now these endocrine disrupting chemicals are known, and there's 84,000 of them, are known to lower thyroid output. And here, it lowers your metabolism, so it lowers your ability to produce high optimal levels of testosterone. And again, remember I said before that testosterone is the proxy. When it's up high, everything else is up high too, thyroid's up, everything else is up. So that's why I think of it as the canary in the coal mine, but also the proxy to our hormonal success. And this is available as a download too. And what I believe we all need to understand is what I was trained as a personal trainer. I wasn't taught this. It wasn't until I met my mentor that this was explained to me, and I realized how much power that I've got to get my hormones back up to high optimal levels. And that's what I've done. And it's been like that for the last 28 months. Now, to give you some context here, I had asthma, allergies, I had arthritis, my mood and energy were all over the place, and I had two drivers into that. These omega wars, and I fixed that, and these estrogenic endocrine disrupting chemicals, and I fixed that. Then your energy picks back up. And there's 8 big drivers of inflammation. 8. So, what's your omega index? This is the current world data. The current world data. So I had, as you can see from that research paper, asthma, arthritis, but it's also going to drive allergies. It's going to put you on HRT or TRT. I was on TRT for over 10 years. I'm off it now. However, I had to do some very draconian things to come off TRT, but it's possible. I'm living proof, and the people who I've helped. Blood pressure ever since I was 19, and I've got garbage genetics. So you're not too old. I'm nearly 49, and you're not weak. All right, it's our hormones that are weak. When we fix these 2 things, and the third thing that I also coach my clients, which is we have to start eating A and B grade foods, superior building materials, and supply and nourish our body at a deep hormonal level 24/7. So when you connect all those dots, when you have to have the body working 24/7, and the current Western diet doesn't achieve that, then you'll see that nutrition plays a big hand in how you feel, how you perform, and how healthy you are, and how healthy your brain is, and your moods. So again, this is all, the information is below on how to download this document, this PDF, and it just you can just go over it for yourself. But do you recall at the beginning when I talked about the endocannabinoid system? So there it is here. This is the endocannabinoid system. So if you've got that high ratio, remember a 10-to-1 ratio is going to screw this one up, and the older you get, the worse it becomes. So do you get cravings? Well, the endocannabinoids, when they're hyperactive, enhance sweet taste. So we get cravings more often. So what is your ratio now? So the information below in this video, you'll see where you can order an online test, which comes to you, and you get a pin that they supply. You prick your finger, you put it on a piece of paper, you send it back, they send back the information to you, and they even send you a plan of how to fix this. I mean, how simple is that? How simple is that? So if you want that, read the information below, click on that link and order that test kit, and it's only about $40 or $50. You can also upgrade that to get a more comprehensive one done for you, and which isn't a great deal of money. And again, if you want this download, if you want this information and you want to have it handy on your phone, just click that Omega book link in the description below, and you can have that as well. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, this is where our serotonin is going. It's coming down this pathway of inflammation, and these are the 8 drivers of inflammation. F and C grade foods, the high omega-6 to 3/8 ratio, which we're talking about now, insulin resistance, AGEs, which are aging you faster, physically at a cellular level, your skin, everything. And I've got a video on that too. And these estrogenic endocrine disrupting chemicals, pulling it all down this pathway. Supplements can even pull it down this pathway. Emotional stress does, but here's the beautiful thing. So when you fix this chemical stress, remember, you're not producing inflammation. You've got serotonin, and you've also got optimized cortisol levels. So the emotional stress isn't an issue. You start moving in the opposite direction of stress, so you feel better. And when you feel better, we do better. And even a mineral imbalance can cause a stress response and pull everything down this pathway and rob your brain of serotonin for higher thinking, executive control, willpower, compassion, empathy, all those amazing things that our smart human brain does. So it also depletes the melatonin, so we don't sleep too well either. So that's a big problem as well. So there it is. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'd appreciate that, because it really does help me reach more people here on YouTube. So please do that, and give it a thumbs up if you like it. But if you've got something to add, or you don't think something's right that what I said, let me know, because I'm a student. I'm no guru or expert either, and I'd love to know what you think. So there it is. This is the Mark Iron method. I'm Mark Iron, and the next video is going to be all about the endocannabinoid system. So that should be out in about 5 days. So if you want to see that video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel, and click notifications too. So there it is. You're meant for a great life. You're meant to kick ass. And the only way you can do that is if you optimize your hormonal system. And the 3 steps in the Mark Iron method will show you how to do that. So if you want to take it to the next level and get advanced help, there's more information about that below too. So there it is. Thanks for watching.